Welcome back to the Black and Blue podcast. I'm your host, Kyle Morgan, aka Blue Bear. Episode 33. Thank you guys for all your support thus far. Excited for the future for this podcast. If you're not subscribed on YouTube and you're just watching this short or just a clip of this, hit that like button, subscribe. You're in for a treat. We got a lot more that's coming out here in the future. Exciting guests that we'll get to, and just great conversations. And our new co-host, Chris Kingsley, will be back here soon. You're missing half the episodes if you're only watching the public episodes, either on YouTube or Spotify, or listening. Half of our episodes are on Patreon, Blue Bering's Patreon, and it's the bonus episode. So this is episode 33 of the public, and I think we'll be at 31 next week for I don't know what Starship's pointing at, but
that's 64 episodes.
60. Oh, he did public math.
Yeah,
all right. Yeah.
Public math.
64. So you're missing almost half of the episodes. So check us out at Blue Bering's Patreon. There is a new Black and Blue tier for $10 a month. You can get access to every bonus episode ad-free, or every episode ad-free, plus the behind the scenes content and the Black and Blue specific community chats, as well as merchandise. So check us out at Blue Bering's Patreon. And got to thank our sponsors, ROKA Performance Eyewear and Unit Solutions, for helping us keep this podcast going. But without further ado, I'd like to introduce our next guest, Spencer Lewis. And he's a former Special Forces Green Beret and founder and owner and operator of Alpha Country Training and Nutrition. And we're excited to have you. We'll get into it as far as, how long we've known each other. And I'm really grateful to have you in that chair. So welcome.
Yeah.
Welcome
This is cool, man. So I appreciate you having me out here. And ever since you mentioned this, I was like, obviously nervous, but I can't think of anybody else that I'd rather do it with. Haven't been on many podcasts, but I feel good, feel comfortable with being here right now.
Yeah, well, you look good, and that's half the battle.
That is.
So I don't know whether to do this right now because I feel like I need a little pick me up. Hit me with the Bangalores, dude.
Yeah, let's get some dry scoop action in here.
We're just gonna dry scoop it. I just put a Zen in too, or a nicotine pouch. Take that thing out.
All right, let's blast 200 milligrams of caffeine in our system. I need to use my teeth.
There it is. So we'll get. I don't want to get ahead, but the Alpha Country Training and Nutrition, the supplements, I've been using them for the past couple of years. They're phenomenal. I'll have Spencer talk more about all of that, but one of them is this pre-workout, the Bangalore. He does the no stim version as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not as caffeinated or not caffeinated.
Yeah, there's no caffeine. It's just to get like late night workouts when you don't want to take caffeine in before going to bed. That's perfect. It's called the pump.
Yeah, that's right.
And so there's no stimulant or anything.
However, this is the stimulant version, caffeine.
All right, we're going fingers deep in here.
Get in there, bud.
Yep.
Oh, I forgot how big the scoop is.
It's a big scoopy.
I know Starship's
that one is packed and ready
that's a healthy
for
one.
you.
I'm gonna move the mic out of the way so Starship doesn't. Buen provecho.
Oh.
Do it for the gram.
All right, I'm joining the party.
We're good now. We're good. We're good.
It's a big scoop, isn't it?
I was going to try to do it for as long as I could without drinking the water, but that would have been a mess. I was about to just explode just now. That's good. Woo! Starship, you want in? Is it all over me?
Oh, I think so.
Didn't do too
You
bad.
did pretty good.
Yeah.
It's definitely not your first time.
No. It hits different when you do it it hits different when you do it that way. It's in my nostrils.
The old Jack 3D.
Oh,
that
yeah.
little tiny scoop.
The tiny scoop.
Oh my gosh.
Dude, but that stuff was like black labeled or whatever, right?
Yeah, it had DMA in it, which is pretty much speed. So yep,
that made sense.
Yep, I used
Because
to.
it hit different, dude.
It
like
did.
that stuff. I remember you could buy it in GNC, couldn't you?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I remember having it
went
in
to the hospital on
Afghanistan,
that.
I was just like,
But
yeah. So, spoiler alert: Alpha Country Training in Nutrition. So, supplements is a big part of his business. But we'll get to that. So now we're ready. We're pumped up.
Yeah, we're good.
And every cuss word that we say on the episode is a burpee. So we're ready for it.
I'm goose egging it. I'm going for 0.
Zeros, dude.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. For real though, something that I really need to focus on, being around my kids and stuff like that. Like I'm sitting here preaching, being a good example, being a leader, and I can't disregard things that, or try to like prioritize them lower than anything else. It's like cussing is just as much a priority of showing my kids what it looks like to prioritize fitness. It's something that, after our conversation the other day, I'm very cognizant about.
Well, I think it's also, it takes a level of intention. And I think as long as you keep that at the forefront of your mind, as far as like, if you are a great example for not just your children, but other men. And so everything that as we continue to be better examples and better role models, that's growth. That's there's no finish line with any of this. Like the words we say matter, and how we say them matter, our tone. To be a true empathic, or to have a high level of emotional intelligence, means not only are you in tune with your own emotions, which is huge, regulation of those. I'm still burping it up. It's also to be able to realize that my tone, the timing, the words I use, how I say them, and the impact that has on others is true emotional intelligence. So if we want to be a positive role model, like we could drop F-bombs every couple seconds. And this is not casting judgment. You know that I used to cuss. Like if you watch the Sean Ryan show, like I was cussing every other minute. But I also told myself that, this is just how I talk. Yep. I feel like I can't explain myself in the same way without using this sort of, I'd call it an adjective, but it really was just like it's really a filler word that it gets you amped up. But the thing that I've noticed is like, if you put an intention to it, if you realize that you're doing it not just for yourself, but for everyone around you, it also, the beauty of it is it also, like, I don't get as angry now. I don't get as riled up, because one thing I've been able to really like see and feel is that, and hear people when they're telling stories or talking about something, if they drop, an F-bomb, or if they drop any cuss word, and they're telling it in an emotional way, the story just heightens, and everyone around us heightens. And it's like, I don't get as amped up because I can still tell a story without having to say these words. And then, especially when you're dealing with conflict, I just don't get as angry. Like, because something about it, man, that word flies, and the next thing you know, it's like, whoa, here we go.
Would you agree that somebody who curses a lot is kind of a sign of bad vocabulary? That's what my dad told me growing up. Never heard the dude swear. Really? Not one time. Nope. And that's what he told me, because I would ask, because my parents were divorced and my mom cussed every other word. My dad never cussed. Yeah. And I asked him one day, I was like, how come you don't swear? And I remember him saying that swearing is for people that have, bad vocabulary. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, I mean,
I realized I had a terrible vocabulary as I got older.
So I think it's just like everything. It's vocabulary is something that we learn, but I think it's a mixture of a lack of like a true understanding of the English language, and because there's other words that you can use
Mm-hmm.
in
Mm-hmm.
place of those, but because we get so conditioned to saying shit
Yep.
when we could just say crap,
Mhm.
you know, it's like both of them mean the same thing in the context of whatever we're saying. They can mean a lot of different things, but my point is that we feel like we get conditioned to using those things, and that's where it becomes bad vocabulary, is what I think is what your father is saying,
Mhm.
because it's also a lack of vocabulary, but it's also, you could have an extensive vocabulary, but then still use those words, and that makes it a bad use of the word. So a bad word. So that's a big thing. Like Starship, I want to hear your perspective on this, because you have a really good grasp of English, the English language, writing. And I know you do cuss, but you've never really cussed in front of me or around me. But my point is that and it could just be the professional side, right? And I just think that just hearing it, you know, from a business perspective, a workplace environment, like we don't do that, you know, but it did take a lot of changes in my own self to be like, well, why can I do it there or not do it there? And then I'm doing it everywhere else. So, but I also used to blame it on a lack of vocabulary. So someone that's college educated, what do you think? Because we're just a bunch of knuckleheads over here.
What specifically, like bad vocabulary aspect?
So like, I know that you have a grasp of, not a grasp, but you're a wordsmith, right? So
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
But you still will use cuss words.
Yeah.
So is it not a lack of vocabulary?
No, I think I'm like a professional code switcher. Not in like a
professional what?
code switcher. Have you ever heard that?
I get it though.
Just changing the way you talk. I mean, I think when you want to, like, I grew up talking to a lot of adults or like older people. So to fit in, you kind of match that. So, I mean, you can cuss with people who cuss, don't cuss with people who don't cuss. I don't know. It's kind of a cop out to say code switching, but I think it's just being aware of the way that you say things and taking more time to be intentional with your words.
Yep.
And I think it comes across as maybe not more intelligent. I don't think I've ever seen somebody and been like, oh, they're swearing, they're low IQ. Like in reference to last or 2 episodes ago, I know Chris said that. But I do think you are so much more aware of that person's.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't think it was him saying it. I think he was quoting somebody. But my point being, I think it's a sign of emotional awareness, maybe not intelligence, but being aware of how you feel and the way that you portray how you feel to other people, which can also make them feel a certain way. Like if I'm cussing around somebody, like you said, they're going to get way more amped in whatever way. So I just try to be intentional about it.
If you're unaware of that, then that's you. You're unaware of what that's doing to other people by using cuss words. Like that's you so obsessed with yourself in those moments that you're just going to be like, but it is emotional intelligence. It's not just awareness. Awareness is a massive aspect of not only aware internally, it's externally aware of the environment. And when you step into it, is it the right time to do this and say this? Is it the right tone? Am I using the right words? Watching their facial expressions as you're sharing something, like that's all emotional intelligence.
I think it's realistically knowing your audience.
Yeah.
And also being in tune with yourself. And a lot of times, like, I mean, I'd be lying if I said I didn't cuss in my day-to-day life, but it's definitely not to the extent that I've heard others. But it's also, I could go a long time without doing it. I don't feel the need to. I'm not super like heightened emotion kind of person. It's typically not non-emotional in a response to something.
Yeah. I
would say in the times where words don't fit, yeah, it's easy. But if you try to be more intentional for listeners, if you try to be more intentional about it, it becomes second nature. Yeah. It's like, I know I don't cuss in front of you. Never had to think about it. It just became part of like the way that I talk.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is, if anybody watching this, like follows me on social media, they know that I cuss all the time, you know, cause I wanted to just be as authentic on social media as I possibly could. And I didn't want it to be where I'm like very proper and trying to be this different person on social media, and then we get in person and they're like, this dude talks way different, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And so this isn't something where, this is something that I'm working on, and something that I'm really putting the focus on. And it's just very recently. I mean, we just had this talk. You called me out on it a couple days ago. So like, this is a work in progress.
Part of it too is like, I'm just sensitive. I'm more sensitive to when I hear cuss words now. Not that it bothers me when I care about people, because I'm like, hey,
you don't need to do that.
Like, you don't need to, you don't need to do that. But what I've noticed though, because of like what you said, this isn't an act for me. Like, this was something that I wanted to intentionally remove from my life. So it takes that discipline with it. And I used to just have to do 1 burpee per cuss word, and that was fun to do, but it literally changed the way I talk, and even the way I think, the way I interact with people. But I am the same way on this podcast as I am in a course, as I am at home now.
Yep.
Because everything I'm doing in my life now, or that God's doing for me and through me and to me, is about consistency. Like, I want to experience these things, whether they're new, old lessons or new lessons. I want, if it's good for me in my life, I want to make it consistently. Perfect practice makes permanent, right? I want to practice with intention, so that way it can be perfect. And I can have and I also just don't talk about things that don't honor my wife, that don't honor my children, and with anyone. Like, I just don't have those conversations. People are extremely respectful with me because they know it's not an act.
Yep.
They know that I'm the same way, and they've seen the growth, they've seen the changes in me, if they've been paying attention, and they're very respectful of that. And, but I also like tell people, I'm like, hey man, it's all right. Like, if that's just a part of who you are, like, I don't look down on you or any of that stuff when I'm talking to people. Same with drinking.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, you'll know how I feel about it, my own take on it. But we all have to have, if we're being honest with ourselves, we all have to have, we got to check in on our relationship with not just people, but with things. Fill in the blank.
Yeah. Like
things, the way that the words we use, our phones, the places we frequent, just the things that we do, and what is our real association with those things? And if it's not healthy, and it's really hard to see something that's not healthy when you're unhealthy, it's like you're blind.
Yeah.
But with this clarity, I just want to be that example and be that light for others. And the thing is it doesn't make me less of a man. It makes me a better man.
Mm-hmm.
I think I talk slower now than I used to, and more calculated, more precise, because I care. Because I think leadership, being a servant leader, I think is a definition of is caring by definition. To me, it's I care about what I'm doing, how I'm doing it. I care about other people, and so that's I'm glad that that's something that you've shared too with me about. Yeah, I'm going to start paying attention more to it, but we'll just beep it out if you do.
Yep. I won't do it.
Zeros on
I
this
won't
one.
do it.
Yep. It's gonna be a real quiet episode, guys.
Yeah. No, we're good.
Dude, I'm tingling now.
Yeah, I know.
I'm tingling.
I already took a scoop this morning too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Dude. We'll get into I love, dude, you're such an inspiration on the just for me, even on the fitness side, and just like I truly think I'll get to it. I'm going to say something, but cliffhanger. I want to talk about you for as far as where'd you grow up, what made you join the military, and then a little bit about your military career.
Yeah. So I was born in Bellevue, Nebraska, which is right outside of Omaha. My dad was in the Air Force for 23 years, and he didn't get stationed anywhere else, so we stayed in Omaha my entire life. Parents got divorced when I was 5. Grew up, I have an older brother. He's 3 years older than me, and grew up just playing sports and running
You
around
say your dad
outside.
was what branch?
Yeah, he was in the Air Force for 23 years. Retired after that, and then was a contractor doing the same thing. So he stayed in Omaha doing the same stuff. But my whole childhood was sports all day. It was baseball, football, basketball, traveling during the summertime, playing basketball around the country. And that's like, I didn't have a job until I joined the military, because my parents were like, hey, if you don't play sports, if you don't do this, then you have to get a job. And so I was like, yeah, I'm not working. So I'm just going to, play sports all the time. So that was really my childhood. I mean, I was into airsoft guns and playing cops and robbers and stuff like that with everybody in the neighborhood. So just pretty normal childhood. There's definitely some things that I can go deep into, especially when my parents first got divorced.
How old were you?
I was 5.
Yeah.
And my mom, I hate to talk about my mom sometimes because I feel like I'm talking bad about her, but I wouldn't be who I am without her. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I do just want to share just the experiences, because I think that they molded me. She was probably married 7 or 8 times again after the divorce. And my dad was he still is married to the same woman that, 2 years later after the divorce, they were married. And so I got to see kind of 2 different lifestyles. And once I got older, I got to choose which one I wanted to live,
Mm-hmm.
But when I was with my mom, it would be with her half the week. That's how custody was. I was with her half the week, and then I was with my dad half the week. And my dad's home was very stable. Like I said, he was in the military. We were up at the same time, going to bed at the same time, very structured. I got to see him in uniform in the morning times, all that kind of cool stuff. And then on the other side, the other half of the week, I was around 2 college football players. They were her roommates, and they were also strippers on the weekend. And so like they would have, parties and stuff like that at the house. And I learned how to break dance, and like I would get up in front of all these random people. Everybody's just trashed, like break dancing and stuff like that. And, they taught me to not be scared of anything, and so grew up like that for the next 5 years after they got divorced. And then my parents finally moved a little bit closer, and we got out of the ghetto in Omaha on my mom's side, and things kind of fell into place. My mom was going to college and she had a good job. So we got into an area where it was like very stable. And I just played sports the whole time until I graduated high school. And then I was going to walk on to Nebraska for football. I was
What position?
all-state wide receiver my senior year. And then
How tall are you?
6'1", 6'1", about 210.
No way.
Yeah.
That's a lie.
There's
What,
no
what
way.
do you think?
Somebody in
6'2"?
this room is
Dude.
lying about their height, and I refuse
All right,
to
the
say
ROKA
it's me.
shoes give you like 2 inches.
That
Dude,
that
I
is
feel like
true.
you're at least 6'3".
Really?
You got to
Yeah.
be like 6'3",
Yeah.
I don't know, bro.
because I'm like 6 foot and some change.
And I'm
You're
5'11",
significantly taller.
and you're a good.
Yeah.
I was looking at the pictures from us in the Shoothouse the other day, and I
you're
was like,
towering over me.
yeah, what? It doesn't feel like that.
I've had a few discs removed, but no, man, you got to be 6'3". But either way,
Easily. We can check his max prep.
I got that back
Yeah.
fusion, so I think maybe it's just mental to where I feel like I shrunk a little bit. But yeah,
you're a tall drink of water.
that's right.
Yeah.
That's why they put me as a 240 gunner the first time I showed up to the 82nd. But I played basketball, football in high school. Stopped playing baseball from Tommy John's like my sophomore year or so. I was going to go
injury.
Yeah.
Tommy John's to me sounds like some sort of rap song.
Yeah, Tommy John's is from what I know of it, it's when you are a pitcher or play baseball and you start throwing curveballs or do something to the tendon in your elbow. And so the College World Series is in Omaha, and my neighbor, who is also an Air Force guy, his nephew was pitching for UNC for the Tar Heels, and they made it to the World Series. So I'm over there maybe 10 or 11 years old, and I'm begging this dude to show me how to throw a curveball. And so he took me in the backyard, showed me how to do it. And I got obsessed with it because I thought it was so funny.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you throw a curveball and somebody just completely ducks out of the way and it strike, right down the middle. And I thought it was cool. And my dad knew that I was going to hurt myself. And he there were multiple games where I was throwing curveball after curveball. And he's like telling the coach, like, I will pull him out of the game if you don't. And they didn't listen to him. And eventually.
So throwing a curve is actually more.
Because you're snapping to throw that curve, you have to snap your elbow right there to curve it. And I just kept doing that.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to do that at a young age at all because your tendons are not like at the strength to be doing that to them.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I was going to have to get surgery for that and miss football and basketball season. So I ended up just hanging it up, baseball, and then finished out basketball and football.
You know why I quit playing baseball?
Why? You weren't good?
It sucked.
Yeah.
And I realized it in middle
It's a
school.
hard
I was
sport.
like, dude, I suck. I'm better at football and basketball. Better at football than all of them.
Yeah.
But I realized in middle school, I'm not any good at this.
Yeah.
I broke my hand, like running. I think I was either in the outfield and ran into the outfielder, but like because we didn't call it, and just freaking went to catch it, and my hands in between the two of us, and just broke my hand. But I had to hang it up.
Yep.
Sorry to interrupt, but because I played since 5, I played football, baseball, basketball, and then middle school. I didn't. Well, for one, I didn't make the basketball teams in high school, anyways. But I just kept playing, like in the summer and just pick up games all the time, basketball. But baseball was very clear. It was like, I'm not any good at this, so I just focused on football. But
yeah. So I was gonna go walk on.
Different reasons.
Yeah, I was gonna go walk on to Nebraska, and I got really big into making money. That was like I totally just like laser focus on making money. I don't necessarily know why. I felt like I just needed to become an adult and make money, and that led me down to hanging out with the wrong crew, making money not the right way.
Yeah.
And so after a couple months of that, I realized that I kind of messed my life up at that time by not going to walk on to Nebraska and go pursue that. And so I really was like, I need to fix and turn my life around. And I always knew that I was going to join the military, like just from playing airsoft guns and stuff like that. I just loved it. I liked the structure of it from seeing my dad. And I'm like, that is the perfect thing for me. I know that I want to do it. I've been watching videos and stuff like that. And so, yeah, went to the recruiter and did terrible on my ASVAB. So they got me an infantry contract and then went to the 82nd. Well, I don't want to skip
When
over
was
this.
that? So, like, you were 18 and that's the next thing you did, or?
Yeah. So, I was 18 and just realized that I messed up, and so I went to the, I believe the Navy recruiter first. I had half sleeve tattoos at the time, and they're like, you can't have anything lower than the sleeve to go into basic or whatever. So Navy, Marines, and Air Force all said that. So it left me with the Army, and they didn't care.
Yeah.
So started that process, and all that I qualified for was 11 X-ray, which is infantryman, where you could be an infantryman or a mortarman when you go to basic training. And so I accepted what I could get at that time just to get out of Omaha. And no airborne contract, no RASP contract, no 18 X-ray contract. Like I couldn't score high enough to be able to do that. And so they were telling me, you can earn that stuff while you're in. So I believed them, went to basic training, and the first opportunity that I got to get an airborne contract, they're like, all right, who wants to go? Raise your hand. PT test tomorrow. The top 3 dudes, get the contract. So did that, got an airborne contract, and that's how I ended up in Fort Bragg, because I was supposed to go to Schofield Barracks in Hawaii. But ended up going to Bragg, and then realized really soon after getting there that getting your Ranger tab was like how you separate yourself.
Hold on. So where did the obsession you said with making money come from? Because the military ain't a place where you go to make money.
Yeah. Yeah,
it takes a long time for that to start to kind of balance out.
Yeah, the people that I was hanging out with. So after, you know, you have football season in the fall. That was our, you know, in Nebraska, that was our first, we do our first sport of the year. And then after that is basketball. And then you still have school in this time period where I'm not playing sports.
Mhm.
And that's where I like got lost.
Yeah.
I stopped going to school. Like I was almost truant, and, you know, my mom was calling me out of school, you know what I mean? Like, and, you know, to me, that's just, if I had the ability to do it. And so I did it.
Mhm.
And I wish it wasn't like that. But yeah, I just got tied up with the wrong people and got into selling weed, things like that. And yeah, I just completely went down that rabbit hole. And then they introduced me to this multi-level marketing thing. And I was like, oh, dude, there's like people making $5,000 a month with this. They're 18, 19 years. Yep. Yeah. And you could get this BMW and all this stuff.
Funny, man. There's a lot of parallels.
Yeah.
With you and I.
Yeah. And I went full steam. I was making like really good money, having conferences. Like we would fill up my parents' basement with like 20 people that I was like going to sign. Yeah. It was wild, man. It was wild. And my parents are like, you went from going to walk on to Nebraska to now you're in my basement. Like you're supposed to be gone. You know what I mean? Like you're graduated high school. But so yeah, I just was so into that. And then one day, I don't even know what happened. I just realized that like, this is not what I want to do.
Yeah.
This is not who I am, you know? And then changed and joined the military.
Yeah. Sorry. My skin is just itching. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a lot of people, our viewers, you know, I've gotten a ton of messages from people about, hey man, you know, I'm joining the military because of something that that I've shared with them. And that's, you know, people are either joining the military, joining law enforcement, first responders. And I love that. And then they'll ask me like, well, what should I do? You know, I want to do this. I want to do that. I'm like, well, the first thing is go talk to the recruiter, see what you can do. And, you know, having a plan, whether it's 18 series, 18 X-ray, or even 11 X-ray, man, get in the door, because if you can perform physically, then opportunities are going to present themselves.
Yeah. And,
you know, you went there without an airborne contract and then got it because of your ability to perform. And then, you know, that puts you in the 82nd. And then you very quickly saw that. How quickly did you see that having a Ranger tab was something you wanted to do?
Within,
because
probably within the first week or
the guys are different. When you see those dudes that are tabbed, whether they're E4, E5s, E6s, you don't see too many E4s, but when you do, you're like, man, that dude.
That's who I saw.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was a 68 whiskey that was attached to us.
Yeah.
And his name was Epps. And they called him Ranger Epps.
His name was Epps?
Epps.
Our intern was Epps.
Yeah. And solid dude. Like
he's not Ranger qualified.
The thing that stood out to me about this guy is that like he was the biggest team player, you know, and the biggest team player. And everybody else that didn't have the Ranger tab, like talked so much trash on this dude.
Yep.
You know? And come to find out, all those dudes were just too scared to go.
Yep.
And
because it's hard, man.
Yeah, yeah. And so I noticed there was one guy that was lower enlisted that had it. All of my platoon sergeants had it. Very, very few like squad leaders had it. And
you're supposed to be, well, at least when I was in the 82nd, to be a squad leader above, you're supposed to have a Ranger tab and jump master.
Yeah,
that's how it was.
Yeah,
that's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's changed.
And
when was that?
This was 2014.
Okay. How old are you?
31.
Young man.
Yeah.
Man, I feel like you and I are the same age, but I'm 10 years older than you, bud.
Yep.
But either way,
good times are different.
Yeah, they are. But yeah, but it's the same situation. Like you see those dudes that aren't Ranger qualified, and it doesn't mean that they're great at their job. It means as an infantryman, they should be. Mm-hmm. Doesn't mean they're a good person,
nope.
But there is something about like those dudes that are Ranger qualified in the 82nd that you're just like, that guy's always doing something.
Mm-hmm.
He's always looking for work. He's leading. You can look at him. He may not be the most pleasant of people to talk to, especially being a young private.
Yep.
But I always looked up to those dudes.
Yeah. Then that's what made me go. And having a platoon sergeant that, I mean, this dude was like Ranger everything. You know, he was not ever interested in being a Green Beret or Ranger Regiment. He was like 82nd all the way, like till I die.
Yeah.
But he was very big on Ranger School, and so he pushed me right away. Within 6 months of getting to the unit, I was in PRC at Bragg.
Yeah.
Pre-Ranger course at Bragg. And
which actually sucked worse than the first phase of Ranger School.
Dude, we started,
in my opinion,
we started with 107 people and only 4 of us graduated.
Yeah.
Like, and it was the 12-mile ruck march. That's only 4 of us passed it. And like, usually I would come in, 2:40, 2 hours and 40 minutes. And I was 2 hours and like 58 minutes. And then the 3 guys behind me, and I was first, and I was like, what is going on? But yeah, it was harder. When I showed up to the first phase, which is Derby phase of Ranger School, I was like, dude, PRC was way worse than
That's
this.
good to hear, because I mean, I went to pre-Ranger, the 82nd's pre-Ranger in like May of 04, and I'm glad to hear that it's the same, because that's how it should be. Because if they can prep you, and they have to filter through, because there's a whole like order of merit list, like the OML, to even go. So let's say we had 20 dudes, pass pre-Ranger. Like I got second, and I was a PFC. I got second on the order of merit list for the division. So I definitely got a slot.
Yep.
And the guy above me, the guy was a captain that went, that got first. But it was, when we got down there, I was just like, man, it still sucks, but this is easier. The first phase, it was easier than the first phase. Now, what ties it all together is all the phases, and that doesn't mean you're just going to get your first patrol go, in the first phase, but you're definitely prepared. At least from when we went to the 82nd pre-Ranger for.
Yeah, it was interesting, only having 4 dudes pass the ruck march, because we got to learn patrols.
Yeah.
And so this is so messed up, man. But yeah, they did these dudes wrong. The next 4 dudes that came in after the 3-hour mark, they're like, hey, if you guys stay with us through patrols, like, you'll be good to go. And so the last day,
because they need a squad,
they only came out with 4 packets, and these other 4 dudes were like, no way.
Yeah.
So yeah, we ended up just graduating 4 dudes. It was me. I was a PV2 or PFC at the time. And then there was a lieutenant, and then a staff sergeant and a sergeant. So an E6 and E5. And that was it.
Yeah.
And all 4 of us we all got our Ranger tabs. Yeah. So the process worked, you know what I mean? But no, that was obviously the biggest point. That's what changed a lot of stuff for me, because I realized that like I wasn't just this dumb kid, coming in. Like I was actually picking up on this stuff, you know what I mean? And that definitely boosted my confidence, but I never would have got there if I didn't volunteer to go do it. You know what I mean? I was scared, I was like, I had all I don't belong here. Like, what do I know? I've been in the Army for 6 months, but
that's what I love about Ranger School. Because regardless of the rank, they put you in these leadership positions, and you have to team build, you got to problem solve, you have to, persevere, you have to lead. And, without even really knowing, how to lead an infantry squad or platoon, like you either learn it there or you don't. But if you don't learn it, then you don't pass. So it's one of those things where people call it a leadership school, and I've always kind of been like, I don't know, but I mean, that's what it is, because it's not just, can you perform these tasks? Can you lead dudes that don't want to be led? They're tired, hungry, and they're not being assessed. Their peers, sure, we're doing peer evaluations, but it's something about when you're not in that leadership role, like, can you still be led well? And that's the part of leadership that you see of, like, even though I'm not being assessed for this part of the patrol, I want to see him succeed. So I'm going to give it my all too.
Yeah.
But it all depends on that person.
Yep.
I mean, I want us to be successful, right? The mission to be successful. But if they're horrible with like delegation of responsibility or delegation of authorities and dissemination of information and all these little things, like it's, even if you want to help them, you can't, because they're kind of setting themselves up for failure.
Yep.
So I do believe it is a great leadership school.
Did you recycle any phases or anything? No, I did. I recycled mountains.
Yeah.
I had no idea what I was doing platoon tactics wise. And like,
that's the thing I had a little different is like I had a couple field training exercises, and then almost a 10-month deployment to Iraq and then went. So like I had a little bit of like what our job is. And so I'm not saying that's why I went straight through. I'm really glad I did though. Cause to recycle.
Yeah, it sucked.
Was just, yeah.
Yeah. But it was like, I would not be, I don't think I'd be the person, and I definitely wouldn't have had the career that I did if I didn't go to Ranger School and be faced with that recycle. Because like it was, you have two choices: stay and go with the next class, or quit. And it sounds so good to quit, like it sounded so good. My wife at the time, we had just lost our first baby. She told me in between Darby and Mountains, they had that 8-hour pass, and that's when she told me that she lost the baby. And so I went back into mountain phase, just completely mentally checked out, and so I didn't pay attention to any of the instruction, and I deserved to recycle 100%. I had no idea what I was doing, and then I got recycled, and I was like, let me call my wife and just ask her, like, are you good without me? Because that's all I'm sitting here thinking, that she's not good without me, because of this traumatic thing that she's going through on her own. And she was like, no, like, stay there and finish like what you're there to do. And so that kind of completely gave me control of the situation, and where I was actually clear. I was taking instruction, I was understanding it, and then executing and showing other people that I knew what I was doing out there now with platoon stuff, even though I was a recycle. And it was cool because all these new people came in and saw that I was competent and confident with, and it was like, this is my opportunity to lead. Yeah. And I got one look in mountains after that as a platoon sergeant, and then one look in Florida. And so it was very clear that 7 days of recycle period, I just absorbed everything. Yeah. And we had an awesome RI.
It's crazy, man. You just reminded me of something. I'm sorry to hear that too, by the way, but it's about perspective, and I actually, you just reminded me, like, I actually like quit. I did a what is it? Lack of motivation. You had to do like a lack of motivation.
Oh yeah.
LOM.
Yeah.
I actually quit. We were about to infill into Darby, and I got a Red Cross message that my grandfather passed away. And, mind you, I was 19 years old, or I was 19. No, just turned 20. And I was, just the way I grew up, man, I my family was everything. And that message came through, and they were like, oh, we'll, at first they were like, yep, we'll, go make your phone calls. And I talked to my mother, and I was really close to my mother, but and it was her dad. And I was like, all right, yeah, I'm going to leave here. They said I could come back and start at this point in Darby instead of doing the first, whatever part of it.
That rap week.
Yeah. Instead of having to do that. And it was good. And then I talked to my mother, and so I'm like, all right, yep, I'll pick this back up. I'm going to go be with them for the funeral and say my goodbyes and all that. And something changed 30, 40 minutes later, and they were like, yeah, you have to sign this LOM in order to do this, to leave, and then to come back, you have to start everything over. And I was like, wait a minute, that's not what y'all just said. Mm-hmm. And but at the time I was like, I don't care. My family's more important than any of this.
Yeah.
And I was mad.
Mhm.
And I was like, well, let me talk to my mom again real quick. So I talked to her again, and she was like, don't quit. That I want you to keep doing what you're doing. And I was like, I don't care. I'm quitting and I'm coming down there. And she called my platoon sergeant, Aaron Quinn, if you're watching. He follows me now. And he called me, or got a hold of me somehow. And he's the reason that I didn't.
Yep.
Like, so thank you, Aaron, for being the leader that you are. And because yes, I wish I would have been there, but I was able to accomplish something that I knew that I wanted to accomplish, and also stay. So I will say, when I infilled with the into Darby or whatever, it was really somber, man. It was like all this chaos, for a couple hours. I'm like accessing the outside world again. And it's just like, because mind you, like, you do pre-ranger, you turn around, and then for me, it was just like maybe like a week or two.
Yeah.
And then
like
I'm
2 weeks,
down there.
Yeah.
So it was like I was in it for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So, you don't have access to phones, none of that. So, walking in that first patrol, like, I wasn't being assessed, but it was really good for me to be like, okay, like I'm sad, I'm grieving. And it was really, it would have been really easy for me to just be like, oh, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
with what we're doing. But it was a test too, to like, see if I can stay focused.
Yeah.
And I did, and I was a good, squad mate, and was able to successfully complete it straight through. But yeah, I had totally forgot about that. Just, but I do believe that all those challenges that we faced in our lives, like, everything will be used for our good and God's glory, even though that even in the suffering, and grieving is 100% a part of life. It's not just a part of it. It's like required to grieve, and it comes in waves, but, like, is a part of the formative, the youth side of this. Like, all of those things help me become the man that I am.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that school is the best thing for young dudes,
Yeah.
like 19, 20 years old. Like, you're going to learn a lot about yourself there.
Yeah.
100%. Like, there will be so many times where you question everything or have doubts about yourself. Like, did I get my go? Did I not get my go?
Yeah.
Like,
People skills.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So,
well, so let's talk. So SF, what made you go SF?
it was after Ranger School. I was in a training exercise called Jade Helm. Heard of that one?
I feel like I may.
It's like a big UW exercise down in Texas and like all that area down there. I was a guerrilla force. I was still in the 82nd. I was a guerrilla force for this exercise, and so there was a bunch of SF teams, and the team that I was a guerrilla for, they were from first group. They were a dive team, and all these dudes were 35 and up. 35 years old and up. And I was like looking at all these dudes that were around me, and we're just a bunch of kids, in the 82nd. And we're just looking up to these gods, that were just squared away. We're doing competitions, and these old dudes are just destroying us, 50 can water can carries from, this spot to this spot. We're thinking we're just going to destroy them. And we're seeing them work as a team as some old dudes and just absolutely demolishing us. And it was like the best 2 weeks of my life. Like, it was just on this farm in Texas. And it was completely no uniforms, no anything. Mm-hmm. Everything was civilian. It was literally exactly what you do in Robin Sage. Mm-hmm. And so that opened my eyes up to actually like pursue that. Because I was going back and forth. Now that I had a Ranger tab, it was like, all right, where do you go from here? I'm not going to stay in the 82nd. Like, no disrespect to them, but like, I wanted to climb and go into something, more challenging and things like that. So I was 20. I had to decide, do I want to go to RAS and go to Ranger Regiment, or do I want to take the longer pipeline and do 2 years of training, 3 years of training to get the Green Beret? This one definitely sounds more appealing because it's 8 weeks of RASP and I could be, back into it. But I just thought about the long-term wise, and I was like, you learn a language, you do all this stuff. I saw how these dudes, I saw these dudes like presented themselves, and that's what I know of SF now, and so I was like, that's what I want to do. Yeah. So my unit was not happy, but it is what it is.
Yeah. So SFAS, was it like a shock for you, like as far as what you got into? Just going from being, I mean, you experiencing that UW exercise definitely is helpful.
Yeah.
For how, when you walk into SFAS, it's extremely organized, but then the cadre are all, some of them are extremely chill, some of them are more wound up, but it's very different. Just the way that the assessment and selection process goes, it's just from a conventional like mindset. Like to me, it was a very eye-opening experience, even for me.
Yeah. I think the way that I approached it was like, I know that I can pretty much control week 1. I know that we're going to have runs. I know that we're going to have rucks. I know we're going to have a PT test, probably obstacle course. Like these are all things that I know are going to happen. And so I can train for them. And then week 2, it's like, you don't really know what the STAR course is going to be like until you get out there, and I had done land nav before and things like that, and was competent with it. And so my main focus was like that first week, like really just setting the tone, having good scores and stuff like that, just, being as in shape as I possibly could. And then week 3, I almost didn't even think about it because I was psyching myself out so much about like team week.
Yeah.
You just hear all the horror stories. So, and it was like team week was one of the hardest weeks that I had been through in my life at that point. So it was hard. I thought it was hard. I thought Ranger School was hard. I thought selection was hard. Like I thought the Q course was hard. I thought all of it was hard.
So Special Forces Weapons Sergeant, is that?
Yep. That was what I wanted. Obviously knew that I wasn't smart enough to be an 18 Delta, but I knew that because being with those guys, I knew that we cross-trained on everything. So I'm like, and I was like, yep, I want to be 18 Bravo, put down Spanish, and was just like, I know that I'm going to go to 7th group. Yeah. I just know that I will.
Lo mismo. Yeah. Well, it's 18 Echo, but.
They gave me Portuguese. They didn't give me Spanish. Yeah, Brazilian Portuguese.
Ah.
Yeah. So.
It's like a lazy Spanish.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just saw that in a movie somewhere recently. But I definitely want to, so the Alpha Country stuff, like clearly through your military career, like prioritizing fitness, what you can control, right? Like, because if you're physically fit, I think other things become easier to deal with, and taking them in stride through deployments, through just adverse living conditions and making things work. But did you share some photos of like the fitness side of like being deployed?
There's some pictures in there. We did, because my deployment was weird, man. It was really weird. Because like half the deployment, we were running missions every 3 days.
That dude's just staring at you.
Yeah, that was one of our uplift guys, or what I think they called him uplift. One of our drivers or gunners.
The conventional guys?
Yeah. So we were doing a competition. It was like shooting.
Was that like
team building stuff?
175 or?
Yeah, it was like 2 something. Those are foam plates.
My neck, my back hurts just looking at that.
Yeah. So, but that was a big thing that we put on those dudes, because I mean, no hate against that dude, but like there wasn't really a standard with their unit of like physical fitness.
Yeah.
And here we are in Afghanistan, and I'm like, okay, this makes sense. Anyways, but yeah, like that deployment was 3 months of doing the job that I thought I was going to do, and then 3 months of watching my partner force die. wondering what we're doing here, you know,
Yeah.
and like
What year was that?
this was 2020.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So like my only shot to go to combat was the route that I took, in my opinion. I got in 2014 and went to Ranger School, graduated October 2015, went to selection October 2016, graduated November 2018 of the Q course, and then spent a whole year with 7th Group doing a workup in 2019 and deployed in, it was the end of December in 2019. So we were there from January 2020 to June or July, and that's when we signed that peace treaty with them,
Mhm.
with the Taliban,
Yeah.
and that opened
No,
my eyes
definitely
up to everything, man.
Challenging time to be over there. My last rip to Afghanistan was 2014. We closed it down. Well, I say we, like the unit, our last, we pulled out of there to focus on ISIS, but in Iraq and Syria. But yeah, I was there to close it down, and it was definitely different from, you know, my 2009, 2010 trips, and 2011, 12, and then 14. So I've been over there, I don't know, 5 times, and just saw like it change even during, you know, from 2009 to 2014. So 5 years. But what I was like really, I don't know, concerned about is like that 2019, 2020, that time frame, like being over there and having to deal with all that crap. I do not envy.
Bro, honestly, like it's the reason why I got out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I just couldn't wrap my mind around like what we were doing, you know, and it was like COVID, peace treaty. We'd have 2-star generals come down, and like I'm frustrated so bad at this point to where, you know, they'd be like, does anybody have any questions? And my team sergeant's like, oh my God. Yeah. Yeah. What's our mission here, sir?
Yeah.
And what did they tell me? To work by, with, and through the partner force. Okay, I'm going to challenge you on that, sir. I can't even go across the street to talk to my partner force right now. So how are we accomplishing that?
Yeah.
You know, and it just, and then I would get in trouble for that, you know, and I'm like, what? Okay. You know, this is ridiculous.
I definitely let's dive deeper into that on the bonus, because there's a lot to unpack there.
Yeah.
And I want to have that conversation. So, but I definitely want to talk about, you know, that decision to get out, that transitioning out, because our audience, like we've talked about this a little bit, like our audience, there's guys either, you know, deciding to join the military, law enforcement, first responders because of something maybe we're doing, or, you know, they're actively in or even retired and trying to find a purpose,
Mm-hmm.
you know? So like transitioning out, like what did that look like for you into Alpha Country?
Yeah. Well, one thing that you said there was that people are either, you know, looking to get in. My biggest advice for people that are looking to get in is stop messaging people that have been in the military, asking them what they think of a 25-year-old to go in, or 30-year-old or 35-year-old, because every time I get a message, I'm like, why do you care about what I think, man?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I understand where they're coming from, but if that's what you want to go do, like my opinion does not matter. You know what I mean? Like go do it. You know, if that's truly something, and you got to ask yourself, is this something that I just kind of want because it sounds cool, or is it something that I'm going to regret 20 years from now because I didn't go do it? You know what I mean? And only my opinion doesn't matter. Your opinion doesn't matter. Like,
well, one of the questions I get a lot is, what's the Ranger contract? 40 contract 40
Option 40.
Option 40.
mm-hmm.
They're like, hey man, I want to join special operations, but what do you think about doing an option 40 versus 18 X-ray? I'm like, I wasn't a Ranger.
Yep.
I wasn't in Ranger Regiment.
Yeah.
So like, I've worked with them and I know a lot about them. 2 different missions. So, you know, of course I'm going to lean towards 18 X-ray, especially with the way that this world is and going. If you want to get into something, you know, I think right away that is unconventional, you know, then 18 X-rays is the way to go.
Yeah.
But some of those guys that are asking that probably just need to get into the infantry and see if they can be a good soldier.
Yeah. And like, there's nothing that you or I can tell any of these people about what it's really like that they're going to remember after 20 weeks of being in basic training.
Yeah.
3 weeks of airborne school.
Oh yeah. Kyle
You
said
know what I
this,
mean?
yeah.
Like, they're not going to remember any of that stuff. So just like you and I, we didn't know what we were really getting into, but we went and found out, you know what I mean?
Yeah, dude, just do it.
Yeah. But so after, like, on my way out, so I got back from Afghanistan, and I knew that I was going to get out. So I started getting everything looked at that I wanted to get fixed. And that's when I had surgery on my ankle in August of 2020. And then back surgery, had 3 screws put in my right SI joint in March of 2021, 2021. And then April of 2021, I had hip surgery. So within 6 months, I had these 3 surgeries. And I was supposed to get my left SI joint fused. So the discussion with the PA was, you can't stay SF because your recovery time is 24 months, and we can only allow you to do that for 12 months. Again, the war was over, so a lot of things were changing at this time. A lot of dudes were getting out, and they were like, you can stay in, but you have to reclass or whatever. And I'm like, no, I'm getting out. I have 3 kids, man. Like, I'm gonna get out. So that's when I started to really like, all right, what am I going to do? And the first thing that popped up in my head was contracting. I'm going to get healthy and I'm going to go contract. Talk to some of those dudes, and they're like, you're going to run into the same problems, same things going on over here. So it's like, okay, let me just start, I want to still be a part of this in some way, which is why I was like thinking about contracting. What can I do from where I'm at right now, where I was like in a walker and crutches still, and what can I do to like still be a part of this? And so I was like, I'm going to start my own brand, and came up with the name Alpha Country. And then the first thing that I did was go onto Microsoft Word and just start typing and trying to remember all the workouts that I did to get ready for Ranger School and selection. Because that's what I think that I can help out the most with. And so started an Instagram page in September of 2020, not my personal page, just straight business stuff. And started making programs for dudes to buy and run that wanted to do that. And but nobody taught me that, and nobody gave me the idea. It was just like me just doing what I wanted to do, and what I decided to do. And eventually, about 6 months later, I developed programs not just for military but for civilians as well, strength and performance conditioning, stuff like that. And then we started getting questions about, I say we, like, it was just me running the company. I started getting questions about what supplements should I take? You know what I mean? And I was really, really into that. And so I'm pushing these guys to these different companies and things like that. And I'm like, all right, I need to just make these myself. Not like in my bathtub, but like find a manufacturer and do it the right way. But again, I had no friends that started supplement companies. Everybody was still on the train doing it. And so from my house, I'm sitting on the computer, Googling this stuff and figuring it out, and found a manufacturer in Georgia. I've been working with them for 4 years. And then started getting kind of the same process. We're getting tagged in things on social media, programs that people are running, and now supplements people are taking with their training, but then using other people's clothes. And I'm like, I can make something better than that.
Yeah.
And so found a manufacturer for clothing. And so we just turned it into a one-stop shop to where you can come to us for guidance, nutrition, training wise. We have programs, we have one-on-one coaching, to supplementation, to apparel. So you be in the gym, you're running our training program, took our pre-workout, and you're wearing our clothes.
Yep.
What more can we do? And that's kind of where we've gotten it built up to. It's only been going on year 5 now. Yeah. So.
Yeah. And I think it's, definitely, I'm trying to remember how I found you. I mean, social media.
Yeah.
And
I heard the Sean Ryan show and in your interview, and I remember it like it was yesterday, man. I was down going to get a tattoo, and I remember just hearing your experiences in the 82nd team sergeant stuff in Afghan deployment with when Ryan got hurt, like, and I was just like, oh my gosh, like I have to at least like reach out to him to say thank you.
Yeah.
You know, and then that's how.
Yeah. And I started following, because I think you predominantly use Alpha Country's page for everything back then.
Yep.
Because you've started your Journey with Spence page like within the past like 2 years, maybe
January 2024. Yeah.
Yeah, right at 2 years, which is cool to see how that's grown and how you utilize that. I think it's awesome. So we'll put his tags in the body of this so that y'all can see him. Obviously, the Alpha Country page, wonderful. All those things he just mentioned, the supplements to the clothing to the programming, like one-stop shop. And the clothing is great. I'm glad he brought me a box of things over there. The supplements are phenomenal. I could still go work out right now because I didn't do a workout this morning like you. But then the Journey with Spence, like that page is, I don't know. You're not a streamer, but it just, these raw videos of you just kind of, you're posting pretty regularly too.
Yeah.
On those. And it's just, I don't know, it's motivational. It's inspirational. And so definitely check him out there. But I think it's cool that when we met through social media, but then, sent some of the supplements and I was like, oh, this is great. And then some of the clothing and I was like, oh, this is awesome. And then not only just like wanted to support what we're doing at Blue Bearing, or to see it firsthand, like paid your own way to come to a course.
Yeah.
To the protector mindset.
Yeah. I think it was your second course. And,
yeah, dude, I just got that building.
Yeah.
I need to send Starship the video of the classroom. Oh, it's in one of those group texts just to show like how far it's come too. Cause we were talking about this the other day in the Shoothouse and you were like, man, this place has changed quite a bit.
I was mind blown.
Yeah.
I did not know what I was walking into.
Because I didn't remember until I looked up the time frame of when you were at that course. I had just got the building December of 22 and the tenants left in January and I ran the first course there, private course, like the end of January.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just kind of like in between courses, I'm like trying to make it better. But yeah, so that's like that's at the end of the course. Look at you, bud. Yeah.
God, I've aged.
I feel like I've gotten shorter or you've gotten taller. One or the other.
I'm definitely skinnier for sure.
Yeah. So am I. But that was March of 23.
That's what being a business owner does to you.
Yeah, we just finished up. Dude, I mean, that door that's hanging right there, like probably just put it up for that course. So,
yep.
I'll show you guys an after. We'll show them the classroom video too.
Yeah, this was the most built up part of the shoot house.
Yeah.
I think that was your main focus, obviously.
Yeah. But that little course wrap up where I'm like, hey guys, leave us a review. And we're like in a freaking
dungeon.
Dungeon. Dude, look at this.
Yeah. Oh.
Like reviews. That's the classroom.
Mm-hmm.
Feedbacks, but then I'll send like the Google review, business review stuff is huge once you guys get some. Dude. Oh, I wish I had
the dude
something.
in the orange, he was a farmer. He was.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Holy crap.
Yeah.
That is right. But I definitely. Well, I think we can talk more about that experience, but do you have anything from that perspective of like, obviously watching the Sean Ryan show and then us getting connected and then coming, I mean, you didn't even ask me, hey man, can you hook me up with a slot? It was just like, cause I would have. You're just like, hey, I'm coming to the course and paid his own way. And I was just like, man, this guy's, he's invested, it's not just like wanting to, touch the magic or whatever phrase, maybe that's the wrong phrase, but
So
there are some people that just want to associate themselves
yeah,
just to legitimize themselves. And that's just never anything I've ever gotten from you since our first interaction, which is awesome.
yeah. It was almost like, so obviously listen to the interview with Sean Ryan, and then to know that you had your own business, I was like, this is my first chance that I can actually like support another friend and actually show him that I'm supporting. Not, hey, can I, come to your course, can you hook me up with a spot? But like pay and just be a student for this dude. You know what I mean? And to just be there. Like, not only do I want to hear what you have to say and teach, like, but I want to make sure that from day one that you don't think that I'm coming and trying to, ride the wave off of you or anything like that, because I know what that feels like. And I know that you know what that feels like. And so my way to be able to show that from the jump is like, he's going to see this dude come here and there's no text thread of like, hey, can I get a spot for free or anything like that. And that was like the only way that I wanted to do it. You know what I mean? And I wanted you to have like a first impression of me as that versus the other way, but I was drinking at that time and stuff like that. And I definitely signed up for the course, like drunk.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, you showed up and you crushed it. Like you did. Yeah. Well, that's, no, you did a great job in the course. I'd sent you an Instagram thing just to show like the then versus now of the Shoothouse, that little walkthrough I did. But, yeah, it was one of those things where I was like, man, this guy is super capable.
And I also thought that I was going to be up to North Carolina a lot sooner than it actually happened. And so I was like, you know what? Like, let me see if I can, be a trainer with him. You know what I mean? But I didn't get up here until last year.
No, and I definitely want to talk more about that journey too. Is it up? Yeah, so it's kind of like for our listeners, just walking through the storage room, the kit room, the classroom, if you just, and then the team training. This is funny. What's this fool talking about? Oh, I'm streaming, guys. Don't worry, I'm a streamer now. I'm famous. Yeah. That's our. Hey, our graders. Back to work. So our training director, Devin, and Rick, the assistant training director. But yeah, either way, it's just slowly, putting work into it, and it takes risk, because like we could take the money that we make and then reap the reward right now, or we could reinvest where it makes sense. Yep. And that's the risk. Is like, I say risk, to me, it's like, I know what I want to get to as far as facilities, but I'm not going to force it, because I need it to make sense for not just me, and not just for the training team. I need it to make sense for Erica, for our family, for anyone on the team's family, because if we just create another place that's hard to get us away from, it's just kind of replacing what I used to do with this, right? Because everything I did, I had everything there. Like everything. Eat, work out, train, drink, I had everything there. So I'm never going to, or being very intentional with just like slowly, organically growing. And people are one of the hardest things to scale. Employees are a whole nother thing that we can touch on in the bonus episode more, but I give everybody the benefit of the doubt until they show me that our values and principles don't align. And some things take longer, people, companies, but I'm just really grateful to realize that. But I'm really grateful that, we met back then. You crushed the course, and yeah, I would have absolutely, had it been where you actually were coming up to North Carolina, sooner, I'd absolutely leaned on you on the training side. But not just because of how you conducted yourself in the course, but also just to complement everything I'm doing, right? Like I need help and I need the right people. But I'm just, man, things work out the way they work out. And it sucks that you had to go through all the stuff with the custody with the kids, and we can get into that in the bonus too. But you're here and but you're in North Carolina now. So he was based out of Florida, and then, it's been up until last year? When did you move up?
June of 2024.
Yeah. So
Yep.
About a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
And we're just now getting reconnected, and we'll talk about that in the bonus too. But I'm grateful that you're here. You're based out of Raleigh, running Alpha Country out of there, and a little over an hour away, man. So I'm looking forward
better than 10 hours away.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to how I can be of service to you and MJ and what you guys are doing, and vice versa. And having you back on the podcast too, just because we just scratched the surface and what I realized through this conversation is that there's a reason that we've naturally gravitated towards each other and even coming back together is because we're cut from the same cloth. And there's a lot of parallels in our stories. There's reasons that you connected with something I said on Sean's show, and there's a reason that we're sitting here again. We pick up right where we left off, but with a lot more, growth and experience in between.
100%.
But
100%.
before
I go pee
we talk
in my
about
pants.
I know. I talk about another, veteran owned and operated Alpha Country. This is an LE owned and operated company, Zimo. They're based he's a retired guy, LE, based out of Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. And he said something to me not too long ago, because I'm tired of the company that makes these other ones that I use, but they make coffee flavored.
Yep.
I like those.
Yep.
So, but they he talked to me. He's like, hey, if you think the ATF is gay, like the FDA is a whole nother animal. Like to get flavors approved, and then each state to get to ship to states because of the, the tobacco, or not tobacco, the nicotine side of this. But this is Zimo. These are 8 milligram pouches, and I want to get an initial reaction out of you. I'm going to have one,
all right,
and we'll wrap her up with a Zimo pouch. We did the Bangalore. Now we're doing.
Oh, that's yummy.
This is
that
mint.
tastes really good.
This is mint. So they make a ton of flavors, 3s, 6s, and 8s. Not coffee yet though. So a couple of the flavors. So raspberry, mango, grape, blueberry, lemon, mint, wintergreen. I think blueberry is one of the, it's nice to sprinkle in there. The blueberry solutions. It's a nice little sprinkle, but it doesn't burn too much. We're not sponsored by them, by the way. Thank you, Starship. But I do like the idea of, I like seeing these smaller companies, man, like former military law enforcement that are building something outside of what they used to do. I want to see them successful, the right people, So we're definitely gonna continue to try these pouches out. I hand them out to people just because I want to see like people's reactions of them. And but yeah, so check them out. We're not sponsored, but definitely Starship. What do you think about him so far? He's been partaking.
I think they're pretty good.
Yeah,
I like the blueberry a lot. Blueberry's really good.
Yeah.
Which I'm not a fruity flavor kind of guy. So
I'm very fruity.
All the flavors are pretty subtle though. They're not like overbearing.
Yeah, mango's good.
Pun intended.
Mint's good. Blueberry's good. Haven't tried the rest.
But
lemon was good. You like lemon?
I like lemon. Yeah.
They're good.
Yeah.
Check them out.
Zimo pouches. So before Spencer pees his pants, we want to give him a gift, and from our sponsor at ROKA, and some Blue Bearing stuff, some swag. Check it out.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Nice little lid there.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That's nice. Where are you getting these?
It's kind of similar to. So that's actually an active San Antonio SWAT dude, Contreras Custom Leather out of San Antonio. He does the leather stuff, and then he just gets the blanks or whatever, the hats. But
see, I have the real one of this
from the course.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when you only get it from the course. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
And that one doesn't have.
It's just
the
the
one
back.
on the back. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a subtle.
The OG one.
Yeah. Well, we still give those out in
this the
courses.
other day.
Yeah. That's the with you.
Yeah, I saw
Shoothouse
this
shirt.
one. I really like this one.
Every house is a home, if you believe in Christ. Subtle, not so subtle.
Oh man.
Yeah, try those on. I want to see if you like those. Those are the Barton 2.0s.
Dude,
the dark canopies.
thank you, bro. This
No,
is
of course. No, ROKA. Thank you, ROKA.
Thank you, ROKA.
Yeah.
Oh.
I go with the XLs, but I might want to see if those fit you. Yeah. Yeah. You look good.
Nice.
And those are the dark canopy frames. This is kind of like that matte green. I like them.
This is nice.
Yeah. And but wait, there's more.
There's more.
I'm excited about this one. So these are the SR1 X's, but they're custom. I don't know what color that is, but I like it. And I figured you'd like it even more. It's like a teal, turquoise. I don't know. But so those are just the clear lenses, but I'll get you some of the shaded lenses too. So, because you can switch them out, like no problem. So those are the SR1X's. Those have the rubber on the arms. So like you could put them on your hat and they're not going to fall off. The SR1 EPs is they're great for, they're thinner through the temple. They don't have that rubber. So that way, because you know how like with the Oakleys, we used to like take the rubber thing off to wear them under helmet, ear pro and all that.
Just have plastic.
So like grab, actually right here. So these are the EPs and they're thinner through the temple. Yeah. Now the only issue with these is if you do put them on your head and you don't have a big head like me, then they will maybe slide off. But what I tell people if they're using these, I use these for ear pro. So under the ear pro or helmet, they're great. I just put them here, like when I'm not. But those got the rubber on them.
Yeah.
So those are the SR1X's. These are the SR1 EPs. Check them out at ROKA.com. And thank you for being a sponsor of this podcast, ROKA. Allows us to give cool gifts to our great guests that I know are going to use this stuff. So, yeah, lots to still talk about, but that's why we had the bonus episode too. And we're going to have Spencer back on. So thank you for sharing just a little bit of your story. I feel like we've only unpacked a little bit, but like there's a lot to dive into on the bonus episode. So check that out next week, same time, on Blue Bearing's Patreon and
Spotify.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah. So big thing with the Spotify stuff, you can see.
Bro, I'm literally going to pee my pants.
Yeah, you can see all the episodes.
I'm going to pee my pants.
Just do it, dude. Check us out on Spotify as well. But I hope you enjoy this episode, and we'll see you guys on the bonus episode.
Sweating. Oh my gosh.